Welcome back, guys. Happy, what is it, Thursday? Yeah, Thursday. Welcome back in. I am Jake Ellenbogen. This is JE Live, and as promised, we are going to be doing our NFL wildcard round preview and predictions. I cannot talk, guys. I'm sorry. I was on like 5 shows today. I'm literally beat, but I wanted to do a video. I wanted to do a live stream. I wanted to engage with my audience and my awesome community because you guys are awesome. We hit 10K in case of, you guys don't know that or you didn't know that. We did yesterday, so really appreciate you guys again for that. Really excited to dive into this slate. Looking at, this bracket, starting it off, I mean, we're going to go through each game. And the Rams-Cardinals, the Rams-Cardinals preview, like just the Rams-Cardinals preview, that will be out tomorrow. We'll have, Alexis and I have already recorded the Downtown Rams podcast breaking down that game. So we'll be, dropping that soon. But I did want to go live. I did want to talk about this because I don't know if I'm going to get another opportunity to this week. It's been a hectic week. I appreciate everyone that's reached out to get me on their show. It's been a lot of fun. I was on SiriusXM last night. I had a lot of fun with that. I've been asked by so many different people. It's just been, awesome. I really do appreciate that you reached out to me to be on your show. For those of you who I wasn't able to get on your show, I apologize for that. It's been a hectic week. It's been a fun week, but a hectic week. We're in the playoff mode, guys. Things are ramping up. If you can tell, my excitement, just the energy, that's how I feel. I mean, this is truly how amped I am that we're in this playoff mode. I'm so ready for this game. I can't stress that enough, but we're not going to talk about the Rams, not right off the bat. We'll be talking about them, but they are the Monday night game, so we'll save the best for last. So for you guys that clicked the video, thank you so much for joining and being in here. Please be sure to hit the like button. If you haven't already, be sure to subscribe. And if you don't hit subscribe, I'm sure I will, be good enough at some point, hopefully, throughout the video. If you find me good enough to subscribe then, appreciate you hitting the subscribe button. So let's get into it. We had the first game. In case you guys aren't aware, on Saturday, January 15th, we have the Las Vegas Raiders headed to Cincinnati to take on the Cincinnati Bengals. The Raiders are 10-7. The Bengals are 10-7. The Raiders are 5-3 on the road. The Bengals are 5-4 at home. If you're wondering why, the AFC played 9 home games. The NFC played 8. So actually, that doesn't make any sense. The Raiders, they didn't play a road game. So Cincinnati got a home game. The Raiders also played, another game against the NFC, whatever. But anyway, 5-4 at home, 5-3 on the road. The Raiders are. This is set to be, according to AccuWeather, a 28-degree game. Not going to see anything crazy at Paul Brown Stadium. No snow, anything like that. So it's not going to completely change the game script or anything like that. What I will say is that this game, a lot went into this for the Raiders to make this. And it's a very impressive feat from Paul Bisaccia, the interim head coach. Obviously, I don't have to tell you guys what he's done, taking over for John Gruden, dealing with the loss of Henry Ruggs, who is now in prison, dealing with the whole Damon Arnett thing, what he did on Twitter, posting videos of him wanting to, I don't know, I guess he was threatening fans with guns. I mean, just wacky stuff. The Raiders have been through the ringer, but even still, that interim coach, Bisaccia, he did everything he could, and here they are in the playoffs yet again. Last time Derek Carr got to the playoffs, he played with, I believe he had a broken bone in his back. I mean, then he couldn't play, so it had to be Connor Cook, if I'm not mistaken. Cook didn't play well enough, and that 12-4 Raiders team didn't go anywhere. They're back in the playoffs. They're now facing Cincinnati. Cincinnati. Gotta love how, some people say it like that, some people don't. I don't know. I kind of like it. Bengals, what can you say about him? Joe Burrow is one of the most accurate quarterbacks in the league. If you don't believe me, let me just let you know this right now. According to advanced stats on Pro Football Reference, he is first in on-target percentage. This guy throws down the field. Don't get me wrong, he's got 3 really good receivers. You talk about having that rookie who's going to win Offensive Rookie of the Year, and let's be honest here, Najee Harris deserves it just as much, but we're going to give it to Jamar Chase, at least on this channel. And I did pick Najee Harris, so I'd be wrong, but Jamar Chase, what he can do as a rookie, he's going to be a big-time player in this one. T. Higgins, Tyler Boyd. But Joe Burrow is playing his best football right now that he's played all season long. Things are coming together. Joe Mixon will be back. He didn't play last week because he probably wouldn't have played. They really sat their starters to make sure they were healthy for this game. But furthermore, Joe Burrow is the straw that stirs the drink of that offense. If you ever heard that term before, it was originated by Reggie Jackson with the back in the day with the Son of Sam era New York Yankees. Reggie Jackson was the one that had that. He was called that. But anyway, Joe Mixon is the straw that stirs the drink for the Bengals offense. And I think in this game, it's going to be tough right now. According to Caesars, Cincinnati is minus 5.5 point favorites at home. That's really good. Technically, if you're a home favorite, if you're just a basic favorite at home, normally it's a 3-point thing. They're giving them 5.5. I look at this game, I think it could go multiple ways, but I'm going to go with a close win. I think Cincinnati gets the job done. They won the division. They're hosting the playoff game. I love the way they played against Kansas City the last time we saw them. Winning that game was massive. So I'm going to go with Cincinnati here. You had Jamar Chase almost get to 1,500 yards this season. I think he's going to be a big-time player in this one. But look for the defense. And mainly 2 guys I want to point out. The safety over the top, Jesse Bates. He's one of the best safeties in football. And then on top of that, you want to look at the edge defender. And man, let me just tell you right now, this signing was scrutinized. People saying he got paid too much. But let's just talk about it. Trey Hendrickson is one of the best pass rushers in football this season. He was last season. It wasn't just a fluke. He got his money, and he stepped up. And I think Trey Hendrickson and company can pressure Derek Carr, force him into a turnover or two. They can stop, in my opinion, I think Jacobs is really good, but Jacobs isn't the level of Joe Mixon that can help you in other areas of his game. I think the Bengals win this one. And you know what? I'm going to say, I'm not going to say they cover, okay? Because I think the 5.5 is very generous. It's, Joe Burrow's first playoff game, Zach Taylor's first playoff game. The over-under's 49. I see a lot of people going with the under there. I'm going to take the over. I have the Bengals winning 33-30 at home, and they'll advance to the next round. So moving on, okay? Moving on, that same night, Saturday, we got the New England Patriots taking on the Buffalo Bills in Buffalo. New England finished the season 10-7. They're 6-2 on the road, whereas the Bills finished the season at 11-6, and they are 6-3 at home. I look at this game as, well, it's part 3 in the Bill Belichick versus Sean McDermott saga this season. As we know, to start the season, the Patriots were able to wait a long time before things got going, and when they got on that winning streak, they finally played the Bills. As you all know, they played the Bills in that crazy game on primetime where essentially, you're talking about, 60-mile-an-hour winds. There was no way you could really throw the ball, despite the fact that Josh Allen threw a bunch of times in that game for whatever reason. Mac Jones only ran the ball 3 times, or threw the ball 3 times, and they won. Well, in that game, the same thing happened moving forward when they played in New England. The Bills won, but in those 2 games, I saw consistency out of none other than Damian Harris. He is the key to this game. The Patriots are going to play their defense. They're going to pressure Josh Allen. They have a corner in the game, one of the best corners in the game in the back end of the secondary in J.C. Jackson, who can be a game breaker. He's the guy that no one's talking about the way that they're talking about Trayvon Diggs, but he hasn't given up 1,000 yards. He has about 8 picks on the season. This is a guy you want to, keep in mind moving forward. So you have that going for you. And I look at the Patriots as a team that, they got really hot, but they're almost like the Colts. They got really hot and kind of fell off a little bit. Luckily, they didn't fall off a cliff the way the Colts did. So now the Patriots, you have them here. They're going up against the Bills. It's the rubber match. We already saw the Patriots win one on the road. We saw the Bills win one on the road. I'm going to take New England here. I understand it's crazy, right? Like, whatever. But the Bills are 4-point favorites. The Patriots are absolutely covering that. I think this is going to be a 1 to 2 point game. It's going to be ugly. It's going to be cold. You're talking 4 degrees Fahrenheit, and according to AccuWeather. Look, I understand Josh Allen is going to be able to get guys like, Diggs involved. And, you look at the way Singletary finished his season, Devin Singletary catching fire towards the end of the year, or at least some form of it, kind of showing life in that backfield. But when I look at this game, I just think Bill Belichick is going to be able, he's back in the playoffs. He took a little bit of a break last year going 7-9 with whatever the hell team that was. And now he's got his team. His rookie quarterback, he's not going to put him in position to fail. He's going to put him in position to manage the game. You look at this defense, you look at what they have in the run game. I wouldn't be, surprised if you get another similar game plan where Mac Jones isn't throwing a ton and they just can't stop the run. Because regardless if it's Ramondre Stevenson or Damian Harris, I think the Patriots win this one. And I'm going to go with 24-22. I think it's going to be that close. I think the Patriots move on to the next round. And that means I have a favorite in the first round for the Bengals, and an underdog wins on CBS at 8:15 on Saturday. We move on to Sunday, and Sunday we're going to kick it off 1 p.m. Eastern time. It's going to be like just watching any sort of regular season game, except so many stakes are on. We have the Philadelphia Eagles, who formerly lost a 6-point game to this same team. This is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They are hosting the Eagles in Tampa. This is interesting because Tampa is 8.5-point favorites. The last time they played, the Eagles had a chance to win the game. Jalen Hurts has had his moments this season, has showed you things that you like to see and things you don't like to see. He's had a lot of time in the pocket. The Eagles basically sat their starters last week to ensure that they would have that health, especially in the trenches where they're going to need it. Guys, I'm not as quick as some people to just assume that Tampa Bay is going to win by 50, and that's a form of expression. No one's winning by 50. But you get my point. A lot of people are saying, okay, Tampa's going to win 34-10, or Tampa's going to win 44-20, or something like that. Maybe it happens. Maybe. And Tom Brady threw 719 times this year, so I'm sure Bruce Arians would like to make that happen. However, I'm not ruling out Philadelphia. Over the last few weeks, and actually further, Philadelphia has shored up their run game, their run defense. They are stifling teams, in the run game. Now, I understand Fournette is likely to be back. They're still doing such a great job against the run. I don't expect any running back to really make an impact in this one. So then it goes, can Tom Brady win it with his arm? Well, we know he's capable. He's won 7 Super Bowls. But what it comes down to is now he doesn't have Chris Godwin or Antonio Brown. Whether you look at it as Antonio Brown quit the team or not, he doesn't have him on the field. So there are guys like Cyril Grayson who are going to have to step up, and Scotty Miller and, Jalen Darden and Tyler Johnson. I know they just added, I totally forgot the guy's name. I know they just added a receiver whose name just escaped me to their practice squad. But the fact of the matter is this. He's going to have to rely on Gronkowski and Mike Evans. That makes it pretty easy to telegraph what the Bucs are doing. I don't think Philadelphia is as bad as people are saying. They haven't beaten a winning team all season long. Tampa is absolutely going to win this game, so don't worry, I'm not off my rocker. I have a method for my madness. But for those of you who are betting out there, and betting is now legal in New York, in case you didn't know that, for those of you who are betting out there, 9-8 Eagles, 6-3 on the road. Buccaneers are 7-1 at home, one of the best home teams in the league. 13-4 this season, tied for the most wins this season for a team. I'm taking the Eagles to cover. I'm taking Tampa to win. I have this game being close, but I have Tampa winning 28-25. I think this is a game where the Eagles have a shot again towards the end of this game, but you're just putting a lot of pressure on a young rookie coach in Nick Sirianni who hasn't been in this situation before. You're putting a lot of pressure on Jalen Hurts. This is going to be a tough game, and they are going to play well. I think the defense will give them a chance. I think, the ability of Devontae Smith, he just broke the franchise record for a rookie in receiving yards. I think he'll be utilized. You saw great things. Obviously they didn't win, but you saw great things last Saturday night in the run game as far as it goes with, Kenny Gainwell. So you have Gainwell. You have Miles Sanders will be back. This offensive line has protected Jalen Hurts, more than I expected. So I do think the way Tampa is still banged up, and that's not going to change. They're not going to magically have Godwin, and they're not going to have Antonio Brown back. I do think that makes it somewhat close. 28-25 is what I have. Tampa wins the game, and the Eagles cover the 8.5-point underdog spread. Moving on, we have a massive game. And I'm talking about massive, I mean, this is a historic, mini rivalry, I guess. You have the fan base of the 49ers and the Dallas Cowboys. The Niners head to Jerry World. Last time they did that, the Niners fans absolutely took over Jerry World, so it's not just SoFi Stadium. I expect to see a lot of red in attendance over, at the Dallas Cowboys AT&T Arena. So looking at this, the 12-5 Cowboys, 5-3 at home, take on the 10-7 49ers, 6-3 on the road. We just saw the 49ers, for those of you who are Rams fans that are watching, and they could play football. They're on a pretty good run right now. So, do you want to play the 49ers, who are basically these road dogs who actually like playing on the road? They thrive on it, 6-3. Or do you want to be Dallas, who's 5-3 at home? Quite honestly, I haven't been overly impressed with Dallas. So I actually am going to cut to the chase here, and I'm just going to say right off the bat, I'm taking the 49ers to win this game. I think the 49ers are the better team. I think the 49ers have dealt with more injuries. They've played a harder schedule than the Dallas Cowboys. Keep this in mind. Dallas Cowboys, they played, I believe, a third-place schedule. Or actually, I believe they played the last-place schedule this season. San Francisco, obviously, they had their moments. But, when you look at it, Garoppolo's healthy now. You have George Kittle. Obviously these guys weren't there when they were losing their games earlier in the year. So you have to give them that props. You have to give them that credit. San Francisco's a damn good team. I had them going 12-5 before the season started, and they have the talent to do that. When you look at the way they beat the Rams, they won in the interior. The defensive line bullied the Rams' interior offensive line, and eventually when the Rams had to have Matthew Stafford step up in the pocket, there was no pocket to step up into. They can do that with Dak Prescott, who doesn't like to run nearly as much anymore. Because of that, and, their injury to Michael Gallup, which I do think is going to affect them more than people realize, here's the thing. I think San Francisco wins this game outright. I don't think that they have to cover a 3-point spread. I think they win by more than 3. I think that they're going to win. I think, they'll get things going in the run game. I don't see how they're going to stop Deebo Samuel. And honestly, Trayvon Diggs, he's given up over 1,000 yards this year, most in the league. Yes, he has a lot of interceptions. If the 49ers just basically manage the game, they don't force Jimmy Garoppolo deep down the field, they can just absolutely cut this team apart just with the quick passing attack. They can use the leverage that the Cowboys pass rushers get against them. And I'm talking about DeMarcus Lawrence, and I'm talking about Micah Parsons. Those guys are going to put heat on Jimmy Garoppolo, or maybe they won't, and the offensive line will do a great job blocking them. Either way, that heat can be turned into their positive. And what I mean by that is the slip screen game, especially when you have, the running backs you have. You have Eli Mitchell. They just activated Trey Sermon, so I'd imagine that he might have a role in this one. JaMychal Hasty. And then, of course, Deebo Samuel and Brandon Ayuk. These guys are built like running backs. They're hard to tackle in open field. So I really do believe that they have a chance to not only win this game, but they have a chance to control this game. Dallas is going to have a hard time. This is not playing against the NFC East. This is not the matchup they wanted. I guarantee you Dallas was sitting there probably wanting the Cardinals. The Cardinals seemed like the best matchup. They almost beat them the last time after getting outplayed. They came back and almost won. I think this time probably would have been different, but instead, They get the Niners, and I think they lose in the first round. 49ers win this game 24-21. I'm going to take the Niners to move on and play Green Bay in the next round. Moving on, the 8:15 slot on Sunday Night Football. Everyone is acting like the Chiefs are going to win by 30, but let me just tell you right now, regardless of who I believe is going to win, there was a thing. My cousin is a Steelers content creator, if those of you who don't know. His name is Adam Steele, and if any Steelers fans are in here, please make sure to go follow him. But regardless, Adam had a video that basically broke it down, because on First Things First on Fox Sports 1, we've already talked about it. You guys know how I feel. We've talked about Nick Wright before. I respect people that go on the air. I respect people that go in front of a camera and talk live and things like that. But Nick Wright said, he coined this as a Chiefs fan. He said the Steelers were better than a bye. Okay? I think the Chiefs are playing the Rams in the Super Bowl. Let me just be first to say that. I think the Rams are playing the Chiefs in the Super Bowl. Okay? But to just assume that the Chiefs are going to roll the Steelers over when, this offense has not exploded the way they have in years past, I just think is ridiculous, and I think it's irresponsible to say things like that. Especially, it's even more irresponsible, as Adam points out in his video, it's even more irresponsible the fact that he said, basically, Mike Tomlin did not want to be in the playoffs because he didn't want to go against the Chiefs. He would have rather sat at home and not played a playoff game, coached a playoff game, than, do that and coach against the Chiefs. That is a load of garbage. It's hogwash, and that would never happen. These coaches, these players, they're a different breed. Of course they want to compete. It's the silliest thing I've ever heard, the fact that, he was sitting there probably hoping he wouldn't have to play the Chiefs, and he was hoping for a tie so they wouldn't make the playoffs. Absolutely asinine, ridiculous. Anyway, let's cut to the chase. When you look at the Pittsburgh Steelers, and this game is going to be at Arrowhead Stadium, it's going to be 26 degrees Fahrenheit, according to AccuWeather. But here's the thing, okay? The Steelers play in cold Pittsburgh. I'm not worried about how the Steelers are going to play because of the weather, okay? This is what they're designed to do. They're built for January football. They're likely going to get Juju Smith-Schuster back. He was just recently activated. He practiced today. They're likely going to get James Washington back. It seems as though the Steelers are actually starting to get reinforcements back. So maybe that record of, 9-7-1 and 3-5 on the road, maybe that's a tick under what they actually are. And then you look at the Kansas City Chiefs. They're 12-5. They're 7-2 at home. The Kansas City has lost twice at home. So they're not unbeatable. So, look. I'm not about to tell you that Kansas City is 100% going to lose this game. I'm not about to tell you that the Steelers are going to win this game. I think Kansas City wins, okay? I have Kansas City in the Super Bowl. But this idea that the Steelers are going to lay down, roll over, in potentially the last game you see out of Ben Roethlisberger, wouldn't be surprised if this ends up being like the Bills-Colts game. If you remember last year, Bills-Colts came down to the wire because Josh Allen took a 20-yard, 40-yard sack, took him out of field goal range, and then at the end of the game, on his farewell tour, if you guys are listening to me, this sounds kind of familiar with Ben, his farewell tour, Phillip Rivers went down the field and almost won the game for the Colts. So I see it being kind of like that. I think it comes down to a closer game than people say. 100% taking Kansas City, but not as a betting man. The points right now, Kansas City is 12.5-point favorites. I'll take Pittsburgh to cover, and I think that Pittsburgh makes this thing close. I think it's probably a 3-4 point game, so I'm going to take Kansas City to win this thing, and it's going to be close, and I don't think it's going to be super high scoring either. They're going to win this thing 26-23 against Pittsburgh, and let me just tell you, Nick Wright is going to be quaking in his boots, because if they do get upset, and honestly, part of me, sorry Kansas City fans, but the way that was put out, I almost hope they do. If the Kansas City Chiefs get upset by the Steelers in the first round after all that talk, it is going to be hilarious to watch the reaction to all those people that were saying that they were going to win by 30. So that's all I'm going to say there. We move on to the last game of wild card week, and that is going to be the Monday Night Football game, January 17th, between the Arizona Cardinals, 11-6, 8-1 on the road, keep that in mind, versus the 12-5 LA Rams, 5-3 at home. This is at SoFi Stadium. Not worried about the elements there, so we're not going to talk about AccuWeather's weather report. That's also why I didn't bring it up in the Dallas game because, again, does not matter. But we're talking about something interesting here, okay? So with the Rams and Cardinals, the Cardinals have lost 4 of the last 5. The Rams have won 5 of the last 6. This is not the breakdown preview that you will be getting tomorrow in depth about the Rams and Cardinals, but I am going to tell you right now that when I look at this game and I see the Rams are favored by 4, that's pretty good. The Rams over-under in this game is 49. I think it goes over. Obviously, you guys know my final score if you've already seen my videos, but if you haven't, I have 31-24. Rams win by a touchdown. I think things will be clicking. I think they're going to use X Factor Van Jefferson in this game. He's caught 2 touchdown passes, over 100 yards, and 8 catches since he played Arizona this season, twice. So he's averaging 18 yards per reception against Arizona. Arizona has a good pass defense. They can't stop the run. They're 0-3 when they give up 100-plus yards. You're going to give up 100-plus yards, if all goes well for the Rams, with Cam Akers and, of course, Sony Michel. So I'd expect that to happen. And with that said, I understand, the Rams aren't going to have Jordan Fuller, but for everyone panicking about that, let me just say, Eric Weddle doesn't have to come in and light the world on fire. He doesn't even have to start. Nick Scott, simple. He just needs to tackle. It's that simple. Rams aren't going to play any crazy scheme where, they have a single high safety despite the fact that, these guys aren't the best in coverage. They're not going to put these guys in position to fail. What's going to happen is that they're actually going to be in a better situation than they were without Jalen Ramsey, starting Kareem Moore, and going up against DeAndre Hopkins. In this game, Hopkins is out. That opens up opportunities for the Rams because now they don't have to force their hand in defending Hopkins, forcing the ball away from him, and allowing A.J. Green on this side to eat and Christian Kirk on this side to eat. No. Instead, with Hopkins out, one of those guys isn't going to be able to do as much. And on top of that, you have Zach Ertz to, worry about. So now you can put Travon Howard, his athleticism, former defensive back ability. You can put him on Zach Ertz, feel confident in the way he just defended against the San Francisco 49ers, and he's got that athleticism to do it. So you put him on Ertz, and then you have whether, Darius Williams plays or not. He was limited in practice with his shoulder. We'll see if he plays. I don't expect Taylor Rapp to play, but I do think this Rams team is better than the Cardinals. I think the Cardinals had kind of a little bit of a fluky game earlier in the year against the Rams. Keep in mind, this is the same Cardinals team that has no experience for their head coach and quarterback in the playoffs. And furthermore, this is the same Cardinals team that is 1-9 the last times that they faced the Rams under Sean McVay. So I'll take the Rams here, 31-24. Wrapping it up, we have altogether the Bengals advancing over the Raiders, the Patriots advancing over the Bills, the Buccaneers advancing over the Eagles, the 49ers beating the Cowboys, the Chiefs winning a close game against Pittsburgh, and the Rams beating the Cardinals. For betting purposes, I'm going to go through the spreads again. If anybody's interested, I'll tell you the over, the under, all of that. I have the over in the Raiders-Bengals game. I have the Raiders covering the 5.5 there in a 33-30 game. I have the Patriots. I'm taking the under there of 44. I'm going to take the under. The Patriots win that game. I'll take the +4 New England. Looking at the Eagles-Bucks, I'll take +8.5 for the Eagles. And I do think that goes over 46. And then the 49ers and Cowboys, I think that goes under, and I'm going to take the 49ers +3. And then looking at the 8:15 game on Sunday, I'm going to take the Steelers +12.5, and they go under the 46 there. Actually, they go over the 46. And then I'm going to take the Rams the Rams 4.5 favorites over the Cardinals, 31-24, goes over the 49-point over under. So that is all of that. I hope you guys enjoyed that. Like I said, we'll be more in-depth tomorrow with the Rams and Cardinals preview and prediction. I'm going to go more in-depth. This was all about really highlighting and previewing the I can't even talk. Sorry, I've been talking all day. I've been on like 6 shows. But this is all about previewing the playoffs and everything and just, doing that. We'll be doing it each week, throughout the playoffs. So I'm excited for that. Going to have more NFL-centric content, along the playoffs, and we'll talk a little bit about maybe even do live streams for different games. I don't know if anybody would be interested in that, live watch parties, but anyway, appreciate you guys so much. You guys are the best. You know that. I don't have to tell you guys that, but I should tell you guys that. Appreciate you guys. Thank you guys so much again for getting me to 10K. Please be sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys soon. You can go follow me at JKBogan on Instagram and Twitter. And if you ever have any questions, just DM me. I'm happy to answer. Later, guys. Take care.